it's Rich Tehrani with TMC. We're in Silicon Valley this week, and on our program right now is Shahin Pirooz. He is the EVP and CTO of CenterBeam. Shahin, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rich. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's start at the top. Tell me a little bit about your company.
CenterBeam was founded in 1999 around the concept of delivering Fortune 100 IT services to the mid-market, and have been doing so for the last 12 years, basically.
Okay, and in terms of the kinds of things you're providing, could you just give us a list of services?
Sure, there's really three categories. One of them is delivering managed services around the on-premise, customer premise equipment. The other is delivering software as a service capabilities with a solution that competes with Office 365 from Microsoft. It's Exchange, SharePoint Link, and CRM. And then finally we have a hosted virtual data center offering, which is infrastructure, platform, and applications as a service.
Now, in terms of the types of customers you have, are they in a specific market typically, or all markets?
We focus on the mid-market. In terms of the what industries, it's pretty broad. So there's over 39 different industries that we serve. We have some penetration in one area more than other areas, but generally speaking, it's 39 different industries that we're serving, all companies between 100 employees to 3,000 employees.
100 to 3,000. That's a pretty wide range, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. I would say the sweet spot is in between the 700 to 1,000 seats. But
is there some pain point that customers typically have that make them an ideal candidate?
There's a couple things. The first is that if they're highly distributed, it's difficult to place IT people in all the distributed locations, especially in that size of a company. When you get much larger than 3,000 seats, then you can afford to have larger offices with more IT people. So that's one aspect. Highly distributed makes a great fit. The other aspect is that the mid-market companies have the same problems Fortune 100 or Fortune 1000 companies have. They just don't have the funding or wherewithal or resources to solve those problems. So we bring Fortune 100 IT capabilities in a fractional ownership model under subscription pricing to the mid-market and make it much more attainable.
So in terms of the competitive situation, what do companies do if they're not using you? What solutions do they use?
Generally speaking, they do it themselves the majority of the time. Alternatively, there's a lot of point solutions that don't have the breadth that we have, that you can go out and get hosted Exchange and SharePoint, for example, from Microsoft. You can host your servers with Rackspace, use some Amazon services, but you have to end up doing vendor management across a bunch of vendors. So what we bring to the table for the mid-market is a single throat to choke and a wide breadth of capabilities, along with professional services to help do all the integration for other things in the environment. Do
you use an ROI calculator to show your potential new customers?
You know, it's interestingly enough, we did for a lot of years, but over the last 2 years with the shift in the economy, it wasn't so much is there a return on investment, it's I need to now staff up and hire more people, and therefore it's do I hire or do I outsource? Do I in-source CenterBeam's capabilities?
I hear that a lot, actually, that people are abandoning their ROI calculators, which is actually surprising because you think this economy is going to bring out the ROI calculators, but it's interesting that people aren't using them as much.
And interestingly enough, the shift also happened where we used to sell to the CFO of the company because it was a completely business decision as opposed to an IT decision. Today, we sell to CIOs, and that shift happened in the last 2 years.
Any other trends?
I would say that in terms of the market, we're starting to see companies grow again. I think we're a great benchmark for how companies are doing in the market because all of our revenues are tied to the number of endpoints we manage. And so we're seeing the water or the tide rising because people are starting to hire and our revenues are starting to go up with that.
Now, but when your customers hire, they're typically white collar, they're information workers, is that correct?
The majority of our companies that we support are white collar information workers, but we do have companies in the manufacturing space, for example, that include managing the fab equipment for them and so on and so forth.
Great, what's next?
Really what we're seeing is in terms of trends, there's a proliferation happening where mobile devices are starting to proliferate and therefore they're making cloud services become more required and able to deliver those services that mobile devices need, and then that's creating a snowball effect where mobile is begetting cloud and so on and so forth. And so we're starting to really focus our energies on how do we enable those mobile devices to take advantage of all the cloud services we've been delivering.
Great, thanks for being on the program.
My pleasure, thank you.